Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. President Bola Tinubu has directed the opening of Nigeria's land and air borders with the Republic of Niger and the lifting of other sanctions against the country with immediate effect. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelali, says this directive is in compliance with the decisions of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government at its extraordinary summit on Friday, 24th, 2024 in Abuja. ECOWAS leaders had agreed to lift economic sanctions against the Republic of Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea. The President has directed that the following sanctions imposed on the Republic of Niger be lifted immediately: closure of land and air borders between Nigeria and Niger Republic, as well as ECOWAS no-fly zone on all commercial flights to and from Niger Republic, suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between Nigeria and Niger, as well as freeze of all service transactions, including utility services and electricity to Niger Republic, freeze of assets of the Republic of Niger in ECOWAS central banks, and freeze of assets of the Republic of Niger state enterprises and parastatals in commercial banks, suspension of Niger from all financial assistance and transactions with all financial institutions, travel bans on government officials and their family members. President Tinubu has also approved the lifting of financial and economic sanctions against the Republic of Guinea. 17 newly appointed commissioners for the National Population Commission, NPC, have been sworn in. The new commissioners took their oath of office before the commencement of this week's meeting of the Federal Executive Council, chaired by President Bola Tinubu. The 17 commissioners are from Abia, Adamawa, Anambra, Borno, Cross River, Delta states. They also include commissioners from Ebonyi, Edo, Enugu, Gombe, Imo and Kaduna states. Others are from Kano, Kogi, Plateau, Rivers and Taraba states. Chairman of MPC, Nasarawa-Benue, who appreciated the President for the appointments, believes this will enhance the deliverability of the Commission's task.
It actually positions us very well in the preparation of the census, because you cannot, it's a national thing, so we have to be in every state of the federation preparing for the census. If you don't have a commissioner from that state, the pace of preparation for the census will slow down, because the director in the state alone cannot handle that. It needs a commissioner to really support him.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and the Commissioner of Police, Benneth Igwe, today briefed the Senate on modalities being put in place to ensure maximum security in the capital city and its environs. The meeting was held behind closed doors. The Minister and the Commissioner, after the meeting, reassured all that efforts are being intensified to improve security situation in the FCT.
That what used to be is not what we are seeing now. And we'll continue to say, we'll continue to do our best by providing the best for our people.
The other security outfit, because we have been working in synergy to ensure safety. We have gone extra miles to ensure safety. And they were able to mention at least since 1 month, and there's no kidnapping in FCT.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution calling on the Federal Ministry of Works, the Niger Delta Development Commission, and the Ecological Project Office to commence shoreline protection works in 5 communities at risk of extinction as a result of recurrent ocean surge in Brass local government area of Bayelsa State. Adopting a motion by Representative Marie Ebikake, the House notes that the coastline communities are in dire need of protection from ferocious waves of the Atlantic Ocean and consequent disintegration of livelihoods.
As I talked to you, Mr. Speaker, a few days ago, about 6 communities were submerged by sea encroachment. Otioma, Sangana, Minyangba, Fishtown, and Oginibiri communities. They have informed that the most recent incident, the worst in several years, occurred barely 3 days ago in March 2024, when waves of tsunami proportions, traveling at an approximate speed of 120 mph, smashed what was left of these shorelines, destroying fishing boats and equipment, residential and public buildings, depriving many of the means of livelihood, and rendering countless others homeless.
This motion is referred to the Committees on Works, Ecological Fund, Niger Delta Development Committee, and NEMA for further legislative action.
12 bills passed first reading at Wednesday's plenary, including the Fiscal Responsibility Act Amendment Bill 2024. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it is allocating 2.15 million bags of fertilizer worth 100 billion naira to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security for onward distribution to farmers. This is to scale up efforts to boost food production and stabilize prices. Musa Abubakar reports that Central Bank Governor Olayemi Kadoso gave this information at a meeting with the Minister of Agriculture in Abuja.
Trying times for most people in the country as price of food and household goods continue to rise. Food inflation rate in January 2024 had increased to 35.41% on a year-on-year basis, 11.10% points higher compared to the rate recorded same period of 2023. This concern is shared by the Central Bank of Nigeria as the monetary authority in charge of price stability. To remedy this, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and his team are here at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to support farmers nationwide with fertilizer.
In alignment with our strategic shift towards focusing on our fundamental mandate, the CBN has veered away from direct quasi-fiscal interventions and transitioned towards leveraging conventional monetary policy tools for executing monetary policies effectively.
And it will, I assure you that it will be judiciously used, and it will deliver it to the last mile, to the intended persons, to the intended farmers, where they can reap the benefits of this huge gesture, and by in turn to cultivate and produce more that will stem the galloping food inflation that is affecting our country.
We really want to be sure that those who own land and are ready to go to farm are the ones that should be taking the benefit, because that is when the value of whatever we are doing will come home to support the goal that you have set.
Finally, the handshake between the monetary and fiscal authorities is in place as the Apex Bank remained resolute in its determination to achieve price stability in the country. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Nasarawa and Benue states are leveraging their vast arable land to promote year-round farming as part of measures to achieve food sufficiency in the country. Governors of the two states met in Lafia to fine-tune modalities for the partnership. Aliu Tijani reports.
Benue State prides itself as the food basket of the nation. Nasarawa State also boasts of agriculture, with majority of its population engaged in farming. Now, with relative peace along their boundaries, the two states are exploring areas of boosting irrigation farming. Although Nasarawa State has taken the lead on irrigation farming with recent support to farmers to boost all year-round farming, Benue State is adopting Nasarawa template.
We discussed some food security, what we can do as neighboring states here, because we have the capacity not only to feed Benue or Nasarawa or just the North Central, we have the capacity to take care of Nigeria, to feed Nigeria. So alone, we should not even be having any question of all these food insecurities.
He mentioned to you all the things that we discussed. We discussed about security. We discussed about issues of the border between us. We discussed about agriculture. As you know, and, in most cases, you will see Benue is number 1 in one area, Nasarawa is number 2 in this, and a good example is actually in JAMB.
On the return of peace to boundaries of the two states, the two governors agreed to sustain engagement and collaboration with security agencies for enduring peace in the two states. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Tinubu's presidency is deepening collaboration and exploring foreign windows in supplying expatriate skills to citizens, as well as build resilience in vocational knowledge amongst the teeming unemployed. This is coming as a senior special assistant to the president on technical, vocational and entrepreneurship education, Abiola Arogundadi, mentioned strategic efforts to tame dependence on foreign skills.
Our return on investment will be like when we invest in the training, they'll be employed by the multinationals. We're also looking at a big component with foreign affairs to look at human capital development being a big component of what we negotiate when we're negotiating country-to-country agreements.
He said collaborative efforts with banks and other key players are on to support 10,000 online registered youths, as well as empower inmates with requisite skills and a starter packs of 500,000 naira each.
You can use the kiosk for your main skill, which in this case, as I mentioned, will be hairdressing. Then you can use it POS business. So we're partnering with the bank, as I mentioned, so they will supply the POS, and also you can use it to charge phones. So we're using that as a multi-purpose intervention for 3 streams of income, which we're launching today, and we'll be giving it out to the beneficiaries after we train and certify them.
The office is also training youths on a free collateral loan basis and promoting synergy with French Development Bank on construction across centers to develop the right skills for meeting domestic demand in the industry. Now, the Lagos State government has described crossing or running across major highways on foot as an act of illegality. Authorities are worried that despite constant awareness on the dangers associated with these, many residents have paid deaf ears to the warning, and the dangerous acts has led to loss of many lives. What is the situation now? Bolaji Hakim has an update.
Running across the highways is common in Lagos, even where pedestrian bridges are provided. This dangerous daring act has led to casualties both from the side of the pedestrians crossing the highways and the motorists. Despite the number of deaths recorded on a daily basis and the recent pronouncement by the state government to prosecute those caught taking such risky options, some Lagos residents have closed their eyes to the dangers involved and still continue to cross the highways.
The steering is more safer than to go and cross, you attempt to cross the road.
They are looking for a shorter way, but not knowing that that shorter way causes more havoc than longer way.
If anybody peradventure mistakenly cross in an attempt to be afraid or panic, they should not pursue that person so that more life is not lost.
For me to be on safe side, it's better to take the bridge. Cannot remove anything from me.
While the pronouncement from the Lagos state government is commendable, enforcement of the law with caution, according to residents, will speed up compliance. In Lagos, Bolaji Hakim, NTA News.
In one of such areas now, and joining us live is Amaka Owo to tell us more on the developments and what more steps are being taken to check the trend. Hello, Amaka, it's over to you.
Hello, many thanks for joining us. Okay, so Lagos can be said to be the city with the most number of pedestrian bridges across Nigeria, and I'm right here at Onipan axis of the metropolis that is heavily populated, and you can see heavy vehicular movement across this axis. I've spent about close to 2 hours on this road, and I have observed that people still don't stick to the rules. Despite the fact that the state government have been consistent in ensuring that these pedestrian bridges are safe for use, they go about ensuring repairs and reconstruction of the pedestrian bridges. But the situation we see is that some people still defy the orders and go across the highways indiscriminately. And earlier discussion with some people, they give you excuses such as that the pedestrian bridges are quite high for them. Some say they are not fit enough to use the pedestrian bridges. Some give several excuses. Of course, we know that people with special needs might have this challenge using this pedestrian bridge, but every other excuse sounds quite flimsy. And observing road users in the short time I've spent here, I've seen people are still crossing the highways indiscriminately. You can see that the government went ahead to put across barricades, but you see that in some parts that these barricades have been brought down. And sometimes some people say, oh, using the pedestrian bridge at night is a no-no. And you ask them and they tell you that there have been tales of insecurity, robbery, harassment, and all negativities you can think about. And I think this is an issue that could be addressed, because there is the more likelihood for people to get knocked down at night by oncoming vehicle than in the daytime, because at night you see that there are less traffic and vehicles are usually on increased speed.
Okay, Amaka, tell us what more is being done to check the trend or to ensure that people, actually use these pedestrian bridges?
Okay, so the state government have put in place some sanctions. They say that culprits being caught will be made to pay a fine of 50,000 naira or spend about 3 days behind bars. But I think in some quarters there's been a call for some kind of to stamp down the checks, the checks on the use of this enforcement on road users. But in all, I'm here on all, we would advise that citizens adhere to the safety rules by ensuring that they use the pedestrian bridge is for their safety.
Amaka, that will be all. Thank you for the updates. Revenue generation, improve administration and management tasks, as well as expand the net for growth and development of the region. This came to the fore at the 4th session of the Steering Committee of Support Program for Fiscal Transition in ECOWAS countries. Stakeholders shared experiences and agreed that tax evasion and other poor fiscal policies are responsible for the weak tax regime.
This is good for national finances, but also it's good, I can tell you, also for investors, because what investors do not want is to find regulatory systems and fiscal systems that expose them to changes which are not predictable, which are not transparent.
When you talk about tax evasion, you're even talking about, number one, your registration. How many people are registered for taxes? How many entities? That's when I'm talking of entities, whether corporate entity or individuals. How many of them are registered? Number two, how many of them are actually paying the correct taxes?
There are strategies around, though we start VAT, but at the same time we are going to implement the electronic invoicing system where we can get data on time, in real time, in our tax administration servers, so that we can cross-check whether what has been paid is correct or not.
Tax experts say West Africa has one of the largest platforms of sustaining the drive for improved tax as contribution to national development and accessibility to individual and corporate advance. We now go to our Lagos Network Center for more stories on Nationwide with Hingino as our guide. Hello Hingino, good to see you.
As you rock.
Neighborhood Safety Corps, NYSC, to assist other security agencies in tackling rising kidnap cases in the state. Ese Onwamaka reports.
With incidents of kidnapping spreading across some states of the Federation, particularly with the recent kidnapping of children in Kaduna, Borno, and Sokoto states, members of the Lagos State House of Assembly during a plenary session presided over by the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, noted that it has become necessary for the National Assembly to review existing laws relating to kidnapping and expedite action on state police.
As we are calling for state police, that is true, that the law and part of state police, all of the character policies are being entrenched in our state police system.
Many of kidnapping in this country have gone so far, and capital punishment will be very necessary for offences such as armed robbery, kidnappings, and murder. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Speaker, this is the time when justice must be served and must be served adequately and effectively.
The Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, while commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the First Lady for their dispositions towards the issue of state police, urged both government and relevant agencies to act swiftly in securing lives and properties in the state.
Our state law professionals as a matter of urgency to increase the number of our safety, neighborhood safety corps, to support the Nigerian police to put stop the issue of kidnapping in our state.
Meanwhile, in the spirit of the Ramadan season, the Speaker urged Muslims to pray for peace and the country.
In Lagos, Ese Onwamaka, NTA News. Still on security, the Nigerian Army in Lagos has apprehended 9 impersonators who wore military uniforms displaying fake military identity cards, misleading the public. Lanre Bele witnessed the public show of the culprits, where the army says such act will not be taken lightly.
These 9 individuals are dismissed army personnel and civilians caught at various locations in Lagos metropolis and brought to the Nigerian Army 81 Division.
These individuals falsely represented themselves as personnel of the Nigerian Army by wearing our military uniforms, displaying fake military identity cards, or using other deceptive tactics and methods to mislead members of the public, thereby tarnishing the reputation and integrity of the Nigerian Army.
One Abuja Jacob, male, 29 years, Solomon Abraham, male, 35 years, Mohammed Jamilu, male, 30 years, Michael Ome, male, 34 years, Dauda Samuel, male, 36 years, Bida Musa, male, 29 years, Esther Audu, female, 31 years, and Vivian Titus, female, 36 years. They were engaged in using fake military gears for debt collecting, free transportation, and vehicle escort. Amongst these 9 army personnel impersonators, there's a case of a lady called Vivian that has been arrested about 7 times. So we ask her, why does she keep doing this?
It was a soldier that was following. He's the one that handled the uniform in the custody, and I was staying with him before I went to Meduguri.
You like army work?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you join?
Well, with this that's happening, I didn't think I can join because my name had been spoiled.
The army said they will hand over the suspects to the police for further legal procedures. In Lagos, Lanre Beleyi, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Network News continues with Asma'u in Sokoto after this break. Do stay.
Good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. As part of efforts to facilitate intrastate and interstate transport system, Sokoto government has inaugurated 30 buses into the fleet of Sokoto State Transport Authority. Governor Ahmad Aliyu Sokoto, while inaugurating the buses, warned that the current administration in the state has zero tolerance for mishandling of public property. Nalhatu Abdullahi reports.
The buses were procured to add the fleet of the state's transport system to ease the movement of people, goods, and services. Inaugurating the new buses, Governor Ahmed Aliyu Sokoto stated that government invested huge amount of money in the procurement and warned against their mishandling or diversion for personal use, adding that their operations will be closely monitored. State Deputy Governor and Supervising Commissioner Ministry for Works and Transport, Idris Muhammad Gobir, says the delay in launching the vehicles since their unveiling was to allow for the installation of gadgets that will ensure effective monitoring and charge the handlers to use them with utmost care to achieve the desired objectives. The remaining 40 vehicles that include dedicated cars for women will be launched at a later date. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Creating an enabling environment for brainstorming on contemporary security and administrative issues were at the front burner at a 3-day commanding officers workshop in Sokoto. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports that the workshop organized for high-ranking officers is holding at the Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya Guest Command House, Sokoto.
With the theme on enhancing technical level command and leadership with the joint environment, the Commanding Officers Workshop is a training activity that focuses on Nigeria Army yearly forecast. The Chief of Army Staff represented noted that the training is necessitated by the need to create a forum where stakeholders in security, operational and administrative management can cross-fertilize ideas, harness their intellectual potentialities, and enjoin the participants to tap from the knowledge of the resource persons.
The Commanding Officers Workshop is designed to equip the commanding officers with requisite skills and competencies to enhance their performance in the increasingly complex security environment of contemporary command.
It is important to note that since the introduction of this kind of training program by the Nigerian Army, the themes had been carefully selected based on prevailing circumstances as they affect Nigerian Army operational disposition.
The training features papers presentation centered around equipping the officers on proficiency and professionalism in the discharge of their constitutional duty of protecting Nigeria's territorial integrity from internal and external aggression. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
And that is our contribution from Sokoto. Is back to Ifoma in Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Many thanks, Asmao. A simulation exercise codenamed Haskebu has commenced at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna State. The joint exercise is to boost interagency efforts in tackling low-intensity conflicts with emphasis on kidnapping, armed robbery and cultism. A defense correspondent reports.
Different internal security challenges truncating socio-economic development in parts of the country. In view of the dynamism and complex nature of these threats, more than 400 personnel from the Nigerian Armed Forces and those of the allied countries, the Nigerian Police Force, paramilitary agencies, and the media are participating in this year's simulation at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, in Kaduna State. The exercise is to enhance their capacity to jointly tackle low-intensity conflicts with emphasis on terrorism, kidnapping, separatist agitations, and armed robbery.
This exercise is a joint and multi-agency approach towards addressing the common problems in this country. It is aimed at building synergy that will allow a whole of nation and whole of society solution to the current challenges we're facing.
I would like to emphasize that you all consider the use of soft power as an effective tool for termination of conflicts. This is because the end of conflicts will go beyond the use of hard power as witnessed in several conflicts both past and present.
At the end of the Senior Course 46, participants are expected to apply the acquired skills in solving real-time security issues in the country. From the Jaji Cantonment in Kaduna, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In the meantime, crime is evolving, and in today's digital age, cybercrime is a major challenge to law enforcement agencies. The Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center is, however, stepping up efforts to be miles ahead of the criminals by building the capacity of its personnel on the current trend. Francis Form reports.
It is the maiden training for operatives of the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center with over 80 participants. Criminals are capitalizing on the development of artificial intelligence and high-speed internet to carry out criminal activities. And the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center is not leaving anything to chance, as the center is enhancing the capacity of the operatives with requisite investigation skills.
Some new tools that are available to familiarize themselves on the use of those tools, the updates in the tools for them to get very acquainted with those updates and how to efficiently and effectively use them in combating cybercrime and making our Nigeria cyberspace safer.
Because it's network-based, and because the technology we use, that's the same technology the cyber criminals, that's the same thing they use. So for us to be able to, be a step ahead of the threat actors and the cyber criminals, we must have to, constantly, build capacity and, of course, capabilities to be able to counter whatever thing that is going to come up in future.
Just this year, the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center has secured the conviction of 7 cyber criminals and recovered over 4 billion naira from several cyber criminals. Francis from NTA News.
And away from security matters, efforts to tackle climate change and working to preserve the forest and oceans were the crux of discussions at the ongoing first national conference of the Center for Arid Zone Ecology, Federal University, Dutse. Mohammed Musa Askira reports that scholars during the opening of the conference highlighted negative human activities that affect the environment and must be done away with to preserve the ecosystem.
The consequences of climate change continue to manifest in several ways, such as landslide, wildlife, desertification, flood, erosion, ocean surge, soil degradation, and biodiversity loss. It is against this backdrop that the Center for Arid Zone Ecology, Federal University, Dutse, organized its first national conference to tackle climate change. Declaring the conference open, the Vice Chancellor FUD, Professor Abdulkarim Sabo Mohammed, said the university will continue to strive hard to promote research and innovation to help solve myriads of problems confronting the society.
When you have a monster, you don't know what is this. It is only research that can define what the monster is all about. So the effect of climate change, I believe, will be tackled by the research groups, the Center for Arid Zone Ecology.
Scholars at the conference spoke against the indiscriminate felling of trees and provisions of alternative sources of green and clean energy.
Nigeria now is facing a great challenge. One of the things we will be doing in the center is to research for alternative energies that is cheap and affordable to the ordinary person.
Jigawa State Commissioner for Environment, Dr. Noura Ibrahim, spoke about efforts the state government put in place to tackle desertification, which includes the planting of millions of tree seedlings on a yearly basis and the resuscitation of the monthly environmental sanitation. The theme of the national conference is ecological responses on arid zone to global climate change and potential feedback to human health and biodiversity. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA.
And joining me live from Dutse, Jigawa State is Danjuma Meyaki. Hello, Danjuma. What would you say are the major takeaways from this gathering of scholars, particularly to states like Jigawa that have their own share of environmental challenges?
Good afternoon, Reformer. Welcome to the new world, Dutse, the Jigawa State capital. Here in FU, the Federal University Dutse, they have a center called Center for Arid and Zone Ecology. And universities are created for research and learning. And the particular challenges facing Jigawa State is that of environmental issues, such as desertification. And so, at the center, what they did was organize a 4-day national conference on how to checkmate desert encroachment in Dutse, Jigawa State capital. And it's been observed here in Jigawa that a lot of people fell trees indiscriminately for the purpose of what? Cooking. And how could that be stopped? they come up with an idea that every family, government, and every stakeholders in the state should plant at least a tree seedling to checkmate desert encroachment in the states. Then secondly, they come up with an idea of alternative energy to address the issue of desertification in the states. Also, Jigawa State has been affected by flooding on a yearly basis, and that's the second area where they have to tackle. And flood damages farmlands, kills the crops, and causes shortage of foodstuffs in the country. And another way to tackle that was through organizing what environmental sanitations. And these are some of the issues that they raised, these two particular issues on how to tackle environmental challenges in Jigawa State.
Danjuma, we know that solutions to some of these environmental problems require commitment on the side of authorities. What would you say the university and government of Jigawa State, have done, or how are they demonstrating these in tackling issues of desertification and flooding?
Right here, I'm right in the premises of the Federal University Dutse. As you can see from behind me, this is a signboard of the Federal Ministry of Environment. They partnered with the school to plant 2,000 tree seedlings last year around October. These are 2,000 economic tree seedlings planted here to checkmate this. And also, the vice chancellor of the school, Professor Abdulkarim Mohammed Sabo, organizes on a yearly basis for 100-level students and direct entry-level students, organizes tree planting for every student to ensure that the school turns green. For the state government, this present administration introduced what they call a monthly environmental sanitation, whereby they clean the environment on a monthly basis. Because it's been observed that the drainages are being flooded by dirt and other kind of dirt in it. So the governor himself decided to introduce the monthly environmental sanitation, whereby he supervises himself, and the local government chairman at local government level also supervises such. So they go around to clean the environment to ensure that the drainages are cleaned, to ensure that there will be less flooding this year. Thank you.
Benjamin, that will be all. Thank you for your time. You're watching Nationwide on the NTA. We'll take a break now. More stories in a moment. Please stay. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, pioneer students in the Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, University of Abuja, have been inducted into the journalism practice. These are the first intakes into the new faculty that consists of electronic journalism, public relations, production studies, among other areas that the undergraduates were taken through. They were also advised to excel, not just in their studies, but also in character throughout the 4-year of studies.
As one of the most important universities in the world. And I have no doubt also that the Faculty of Communication and Media Studies will be the #1 faculty of Communication and Media Studies in Nigeria, in West Africa, in Africa.
We want them to do things in a unique way and to understand the system so that to do those things in a unique, communicative way.
I believe you have the power to shape your academic journey and contribute meaningfully to the broader society.
The National Senior Secondary Education Commission has expressed commitment to enhancing the quality of teaching and learning in senior secondary schools. This was at a 2-day workshop for key scheduled officers from selected federal unity colleges and state senior secondary schools in Abuja. The commission emphasized the need to address challenges in the subsector, including infrastructure decay in some secondary schools. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Professor Iyela Ajayi, highlighted initiatives such as the development of a national policy on senior secondary education, awaiting publication and launching for dissemination.
We are going to monitor to see the extent to which you have succeeded in cascading the knowledge you have acquired. The Commission has developed a national minimum standards for senior secondary education. We hope that when that document is fully implemented, service delivery will be improved in all our senior secondary schools in this country.
For the children in primary school, secondary school, having an idea
of a laboratory and equipment, and the aspect of the equipment for them to go into research. And when they come to university, there will be a greater results.
Efforts by the Commission is the creation of a National Strategic Plan 2024 to 2027 for senior secondary education and the development of training manuals on English language and mathematics. The theme for the workshop is Attaining the Sustainable Development Goal 4, Senior Secondary Education in Perspective. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB has warned parents against enrolling minors for Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. UTME JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede issued the caution while reacting to a suit filed by Ifeanyi Eke against the organization over alleged inappropriate text messages sent to her 15-year-old daughter during the course of her registration. The plaintiff had filed a 100 million naira suit against JAMB and 3 others before a federal high court in Lagos over alleged unsolicited and inappropriate text messages sent to her 15-year-old daughter. But Oloyede said JAMB is ready to meet with the woman, maintaining that the sender of the message was not a staff of JAMB. JAMB has since reported the incident to security agencies for appropriate investigation. The National Youth Service Corps has inaugurated a 13-member reconstituted 2020-2022 President's Honors Award Selection Committee. Olayinka Ojo reports that a total of 1,426 ESCOR members have so far received the President's NYSC Honors Award instituted in 1974.
Hinged on the premise of 4 cardinal programs of the NYSC: orientation course, primary assignment, community development service, and personal parade. This 13-member committee, drawn from different walks of life, is the highest body saddled with the evaluation of the performance and selection of core members for NYSC President's National Award. And the essence of the award is to reward excellence in service and encourage future generations of core members to imbibe the spirit of dignity in labor and national integration.
Therefore, the credibility and integrity of the process are germane.
Director General NYSC Brigadier General Yushew Ahmed says the reconstitution of the award was necessary to encourage diligence and socio-economic growth of the country among core members through community development service projects. He urged the committee to improve on the standards already set by their predecessors.
As you embark on this round of selection process, I implore you to approach the task dispassionately.
Chairman of the committee, Professor Lilian Salami, promised objectivity while discharging their official mandates.
We will put in our very best, ensuring that those who are worthy to be celebrated will duly be celebrated.
Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
As part of efforts to promote quality education and e-learning center equipped with computer sets and internet facility with an alternative solar power has been donated to Hilltop Creative Arts Center, Hilltop Model School, Minna, Niger State. The project, which is at the instance of Renewed Hope Initiative, a pet project of the First Lady, was inaugurated by the wife of the Speaker, House of Representatives, Fatima Tajuddin Abbas.
Inaugurated simultaneously across the 6 geopolitical zones, is in collaboration with the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, aimed at encouraging e-learning and broadening the horizon of secondary school students. The e-learning center is equipped with computer sets, internet facility with alternative solar power. Representing the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, wife of the Speaker, National Assembly, Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, charged the school to take the project as theirs by protecting it. Adding that the project is expected to provide opportunity to students, thereby producing the next generation of robotic engineers.
The formal opening of this center marks a strategic step forward in setting the path for Nigerian women and girls to participate and thrive in the digital revolution.
Other states are expected to benefit from the next phase of the project. Musa Mikail, NTA News.
The female members of the 4th Estate of the Realm in commemoration of the 2024 International Women's Day have pledged their commitment to amplify female voices in their programs and reportage to achieve effective inclusion of women in all spheres of life. Ngozi Technique reports that this is the fallout of the Women's Conference put together by Female Journalists Network in collaboration with FCT chapter of the National Association of Women Journalists.
A general belief that he, or rather she, who wears the shoe knows where it pinches is the motivation behind this clamor to change the narrative for women to be the ones to amplify the voices of fellow women on issues concerning their well-being and development. Using the power of the pen and paper, in addition to programs in media platforms available to female journalists, speakers in unison agreed will do the magic.
We must continue to address issues such as wage gaps, discrimination, and lack of representation, ensuring that every woman has the opportunity to thrive.
This is not one of those days we come and sweet talk. Conversations that must transcend tribal, religious, regional boundaries.
So if as female journalists we sit down here today and decide that when I see that young girl win a scholarship, I will put it on the front page. We, whether we want to admit it or not, have a very high place in society. We shape opinions.
The woman is at the table where they are talking about women, where they are talking about that girl that has been dropped from school, where they are talking about that woman that has been discriminated for a while. A woman will be able to say something, will be able to know the right things to do.
The practice of female genital mutilation is unjustifiable, and every one of us has a crucial role to play in preventing and ending this health scourge.
In line with the theme, together ensure inclusivity, female journalists pledge to lend their voices in the campaigns to end female genital mutilation and other vices inimical to women in general. Ngozi Technique, NTA News.
Stakeholders in Rivers State have pledged commitment towards achieving lasting peace in the state. Gabriel Amonike reports that the stakeholders in Obiakpo local government area expressed appreciation to President Bola Tinubu for appointing one of their sons, Ezenwo Wike, as the Minister of FCT.
Others, including members of Rivers State House of Assembly, converged at the council headquarters to express appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for deeming it worthy to appoint into his administration their son as the Minister of FCT Abuja.
To felicitate with ourselves as brothers and sisters, despite our political differences, because we have thought it wise that there's so much we will benefit working together with a better understanding as Obiakpo people for the overall interests of this great local government.
You're all aware that our brother is the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, and that opportunity was given to him by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we are Ikwere people. Appreciation, gratitude is one thing you cannot take away from us. As Obiakpo people, that is why we are gathered here today to have this discussion and agree on the way forward.
Some of the speakers described Nyesom Wike's track record as that of a decent and pragmatic politician.
We believe in the unity of this country. We believe in the unity of Rivers State and, of course, the unity of our local governments. And that is why we have turned out a mass from our various political parties to gather here today.
Speaking on one thing, what are we talking about? Is that Obiakpo people are very grateful for what the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, did for Obiakpo people.
They used the opportunity to call for lasting peace in Rivers State, irrespective of party lines. Gabriel Amonike, NTA News.
And that's nationwide for today. We thank you for watching. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Bye for now.